Hey guys, welcome back to Overtakes. This is Misfit, and I am doing a solo run here. We're doing the picks for Stage 2, Week 1. Gonna do a rapid fire picks. Kel sent them into me, so gonna go down, do a quick one for you, go over all of the picks for Week 1 of Stage 2. So, let's get started. All right. Tonight, Thursday night, we have the first match of the night. We have Philadelphia and New York. Gonna be a good one here. I have the New York Excelsior and Kel has the Philadelphia Fusion. Just a quick note on this one. I think New York is going to bounce back from their playoff loss and continue to do what they do. We might see some different things in this. Who knows? We don't know what the meta is going to shift into, so it could go either way in this one, but I have New York and Kel has Philadelphia. So let's move on to the next match of the night. We have the Boston Uprising and the Atlanta Reign, both with some big roster changes. Boston getting RCK and trading away Note. Atlanta Reign with no DeFran. But I happen to like the Reign in this one because I think as valuable as DeFran was, I think Note was a little bit more valuable to Boston. And, they haven't had time to work with RCK quite yet that much. But Kel has Boston in this one, thinking the opposite way that I do. So let's move on to the last match. Or the next to the last match of the night, for Thursday night. We have the Shanghai Dragons taking on the Los Angeles Gladiators. We both have the Gladiators. Gladiators look good at the end of Stage 1. Going into Stage 2, I think they're going to be much improved. They've had a lot of time to work. Shanghai has a lot of problems to work out. Unless we get into some kind of crazy DPS thing, I don't think this one's going to be super close. Shanghai, that is, looks a little average playing goats. If it gets into a DPS thing, like I said, it's going to be a little bit closer because they have great DPS players, but Los Angeles, I think, is just the better team overall, and we both have the Gladiators in this one. So last match of Thursday night, we had the Guangzhou Charge taking on the Paris Eternal. Paris losing their coach to start the week off. They're kind of a weird team to try to figure out. They look good at times playing the Goats meta 3-3, whatever we want to call it. And times they look absolutely terrible. Don't know what they're going to be like in a different meta setup. They do have Soon and Shadowburn, who are good DPS players. Outside of that, I don't know what's going to happen with them. Guangzhou, I think, is going to look to rebound from, a couple of losses here and there. I think they're just going to get better and better. And we both have Guangzhou in this match. So let's move on to the next match. We really don't have to talk too much about this one. London versus Florida. No matter what the meta is, London's going to bury them. So we both have London. Florida has a myriad of problems as usual. No cohesion. All of the same things that plagued them last year are plaguing them this year. Feeding, bad ultimates, you name it. London is looking to rebound from last stage. And I think they're going to do that, especially if we get into some DPS metas where Prophet is out of Brig or Zarya jail, whichever one, and you can bring in Bird Ring to do stuff, and Gesture gets on hitting the more comfortable Winston, which I think we're going to see a little bit more of the Winston goats anyway, with Baptiste coming in and all that kind of stuff. So who knows? But this one is an easy pick. We both have London. Same thing with the next one. You can just Toronto. Playoff team, 2 losses last stage, one of our favorite teams to watch, playing arguably the worst team in the league, the Washington Justice. Toronto, we both have in this one. Toronto is going to look to, as the news came down yesterday, that Stellar left, so I'm assuming we're going to see some Asher, and we might see some more DPS comps from them just because of Asher in there, but bear in mind, he's a decent enough Brigida if they need to use him. So, don't count them out just because Stellar's gone. But this one is a good tune-up match for them to try different things with Asher in there. Maybe not even just run 3-3 and, not show their hand, so to speak, because Washington's terrible. Even with Arc, still think they're going to be bad. He's going to help to an extent, but not enough. We both have Toronto. And a repeat of the last two going into the third match of the night. San Francisco in the championship game almost beat the Vancouver Titans. We both have San Francisco in this. The Valiant are terrible. 3-3 meta, not 3-3 meta. I just think the organization itself is kind of whacked. They tried to make a trade. They didn't make a trade with Boston. And there's just underlying things in this team that we haven't even scratched the surface on. They're not good. They're not cohesive. There's just something wrong with the Valiant, and they're going to be 0-8 at this point because San Francisco, whether they run 3-3 or they run any kind of DPS with that bench that they have, guys waiting in the wings to play like Architect and Striker. If they want to put them in to do some DPS damage, they can do that. If they want to run 3-3 and just run the lineup that they have, they can do that and kill them. So it's another easy, San Francisco. Last match Friday. Man, I'm getting my days mixed up. I'm sorry, guys. Last match of Friday. This is going to be a good one to close out the evening. We have the Gladiators taking on the Soul Dynasty. Gladiators looking good. Soul looking good too. They're looking for their, redemption, arc to continue. We're beating, and then we also have Fissure playing one of his old teams. So you know what that means. Gladiators could be in trouble. I have the Gladiators in this, and Kel has Soul in this one. I was reluctant. I wanted to pick Soul, but I did not. I just think the Gladiators are looking better and better as the weeks go on, as they incorporate Decay and Roar and they get their communications down and all that stuff. Soul, though, this is going to be a good game. Definitely watch this one. It's on late if you're on the East Coast, starting at 12:15 a.m. So, if you don't catch it at night, catch it in the morning. I think it's going to be good. It's going to be a good back and forth match, no matter what kind of meta they run, or comps or whatever. It's going to be weird. But, that's going to be one to watch. Kel has Soul. I have the Gladiators. So let's move on to Saturday. And we start off with the Mayhem taking on the Fusion. Both of us have Philadelphia. Enough said on Florida. Philadelphia is looking to, continue, moving forward and, just doing what they do. We split on the first match with Philadelphia. I still think they're a superior team in the league. I just think New York's a little better in that first match. In this one, it's not even going to be close. Florida's going to get mashed as usual. And Philadelphia is also pissed off over what happened the last time and people just memeing the crap out of them for losing to Florida. Don't look at this one to be close at all. They will not let their foot off the gas pedal and they will absolutely destroy Florida 4-0. Mark it down, clip it, whatever you want to do. I doubt it's going to go the other way. Let's move on to the next match where we have the Toronto Defiant taking on the Boston Uprising. This should be a good match. I said earlier about Boston, they're kind of up in the air with RCK. I think it's going to take a week or so to get, him acclimated in there. Same thing kind of with Toronto with Asher, but I think that's going to be at this point, he's their other DPS player after Stellar left. So we're going to see what happens here. It's going to be a close one. We both have the Defiant in this one, but it's not out of the realm of possibility that Boston gives them a good fight and possibly wins this one. So let's move on to the next match. We have the New York Excelsior taking on the Shanghai Dragons. We both have New York in this one. Shanghai is mediocre at best right now. They have a lot of stuff to work out, like I said earlier. Even if we get into DPS with this one, New York is superior by a landslide. And look for New York to win this one. I'd say 3-1 would be reasonable. Shanghai there's just something about them that's not right. Anyway, let's move on to the last match of Saturday. We have everybody's favorite fun team, the Chengdu Hunters, taking on the Paris Eternal. So, with meta shifts and all that stuff, we have Chengdu coming in, who can play a DPS comp, and their goats are kind of okay. Paris is kind of flip-flopped in that. Their DPS comps are kind of okay, if we've even seen anything really from them. And their goats is good on occasion. But, we both have Chengdu in this one. I think, and I'm going to be brutally honest here, I think they're a better team. They're playing better. They're more cohesive. This is outside of the realms of the fun to watch. I think they're going to beat them 4-0 or 3-1 minimum. They're just a better team right now. They have more cohesion. And when they run the wacky comps that they run, you don't think they know what they're doing, or you want to think that they don't know what they're doing, but they know exactly what they're doing. They know how to run them. And I think they're going to give Paris fits, and it's not even going to be close. So we both have Chengdu. Let's move on to Sunday. Last day of the first week of stage 2. We have pretty good matchup to start off. We have San Francisco taking on the Guangzhou Charge. We both have San Francisco in this one because they're a top 3 team. Guangzhou's going to give them a fight, though. I think this is going to be a close match. I think we're going to see a lot of different things in this one, too. I think this one could be a fun one to watch for sure. But we both have San Francisco. Next match, we have Atlanta taking on London. This is going to be an interesting match. This one's going to be close because I don't think we know where either team is in this one. Kel has the Atlanta Reign, and I'm going with London in this one. There are things I like about London more than I like about Atlanta right now. I think it's really hard to say. As far as a team goes, I don't know what Atlanta's going to be like without Dufresne. I think they're going to be decent. I think this is going to be close, though. I think this is going to be 5 maps. Obviously depending on what we're running here, what kind of strategies and, whatnot's going on. But I have London, Kel has Atlanta. So let's move on to the next match of Sunday. We have Vancouver taking on Hangzhou. Vancouver's just incredible. If they run 3-3, they're going to roll over them. Hangzhou's got a lot of communication issues. I think there's a lot of pressure on them, and they're not handling it the best. So we both have Vancouver in this one, obviously. I mean, they're the best team in the league right now, hands down, no matter what they run. And Hangzhou's got a lot to work on. I think they'll be okay in the way that if the meta shifts and moves and whatever. But right now, there's just too many questions, and there's really no team I can really look at and say I'm going to pick against Vancouver anyway. So let's move on to the last match of the week. We have the Washington Justice taking on the Chengdu Hunters. This is another one. I think Chengdu's going to roll. Washington's terrible, regardless of Arc being in or not. I don't think that matters at all. Washington can't handle people playing regular 3-3. I don't know what they're going to do against a team like Chengdu that's going to pull all this different stuff out. They barely have a grasp on running a cohesive meta at all of any kind. And I think they're just going to get rolled. And so does Kel. He also has Chengdu. So that is going to wrap up all of the picks for the week, our rapid fire edition. As always, thanks guys for tuning in on YouTube and, various other podcast channels. If you're on YouTube, please give us a like, a subscribe. If you're new, thanks for joining us. If you guys have been around, thanks a lot for continuing to support us and, what we're doing and, carry on the conversation down below. And don't forget, we have, our, high noon, pick'em and our high noon, unlimited, bear that in mind. Also, guys, if you would like to support us in any way that you can, we have a Patreon page. So hit that up. It's down below. And also join our Discord and look out for us on social media. We'll be, in Discord and talking about matches and all that kind of thing. And if anything comes up, we'll let you on Twitter. Don't forget about Sunday, where we have our Sunday back cap, where we go over all the matches and all the week's events. Other than that, enjoy the matches, guys. And we will see you on Sunday night. Have a good one.